So after watching Suicide Me, I kind of had to take a step back because I needed to process it more. And this documentary overall was very raw and emotional. Um, it definitely made me cry in some aspects of it. Um, I think that one of the main things I kind of took away from it was that we don't let people talk about their emotions very often. Like even with females, it's a little more acceptable to talk about it because we're the gentler sex and all this stuff. But with men, we don't really sit down and say, "Hey, like how are you doing? What's going on with you? Are you okay today?" Like we don't do that in society. And in turn, like this is why we kind of have more male suicides, in my opinion. And I think that there's a lot of progress that needs to be made with that, where we need to focus on making it okay for men to talk about their feelings and maybe in turn reducing suicide rates among males. And it's something that's definitely very prominent in society today and that we need to take a little more seriously. I think it also has to do with the fact that, we have this big stigma towards mental illness and towards suicide, and so it makes it harder for people to talk about it because they're scared of the judgment. They don't want to be judged and told like you're horrible for doing that, like you're being selfish and all this stuff. Like nobody wants to hear that when they're feeling suicidal. And I think that this entire documentary kind of like honed in on that specific thing, is that you shouldn't make people feel bad for feeling suicidal. Like sometimes that happens. Sometimes like what they're going through is going to hurt them to that point, and it needs to be addressed instead of like reprimanding somebody for it. Overall, I liked the documentary. I think it was very informative, very good. It evoked a lot of emotion, which I think is a strong point to have when, trying to get this point across, is that you need to be able to feel what other people are feeling in that sense. Obviously, not to the same exact extent, because that's nobody deserves to feel like that. Um, but I think it was a good documentary overall. So.